In this video, we are going to show you a sample one-day or 24-hour travel itinerary for visiting London. London is the capital of the United Kingdom and the country's economic and cultural center. If you are only going to be in London for a day, you might be concerned about how much of the city you'll be able to experience. Luckily, London is very condensed and many of the major attractions are all located in the center of the city. In this video, I will provide a step-by-step plan to get around the most important and popular monuments, landmarks, and attractions. Let's get started. Tower Bridge. Let's take a walk along Tower Bridge where you can enjoy the breathtaking views of London from a unique perspective above the River Thames. A section of the bridge features see-through glass floors where you can watch the hustle and bustle of the city beneath your feet. The bridge has a length of 800 feet, is made up of two 213-foot bridge towers that are joined at their higher levels by two horizontal walkways, and has a pair of bascules in the middle that can be opened to let ships pass. The operating mechanism was originally hydraulically driven but was changed to an electro-hydraulic system in 1972. Tower of London. The Tower of London is nearby and a must-see. It houses the famous crown jewels, which are ceremonial objects of British kings and queens and a powerful symbol of the British monarchy for 800 years. In English history, the Tower of London has had a significant impact. Controlling it has been crucial to controlling the country because it has been besieged numerous times. The tower has housed England's crown jewels as well as an armory, treasury, menagerie, the Royal Mint, and a public record office. Palace of Westminster. Next is the Palace of Westminster, a gorgeous Gothic building that serves as the House of the UK Parliament. It features statues of historical figures and Gothic landmarks such as Westminster Abbey. The House of Commons and the House of Lords meet at the Palace of Westminster. The palace, sometimes called the Houses of Parliament, is in the city of Westminster in central London. Big Ben. The great bell of the clock that strikes at the north end of the Palace of Westminster is known as Big Ben. However, the name is sometimes expanded to include both the clock and the clock tower. Big Ben's tower's official name was previously Clock Tower, but to honor Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee, it was renamed Elizabeth Tower in 2012. Big Ben is the bell on the landmark clock tower that defines London's skyline. Westminster Abbey. Just to the west of the Palace of Westminster is the beautiful Gothic church, Westminster Abbey. One of the most famous ecclesiastical structures in the UK, it has served as the coronation location and final resting place for English and later British monarchs. Since the 12th century, the Abbey has hosted 16 royal weddings. You could even attend one of their services if you're up for it. Take a tour and admire the amazing architecture and history. London Eye. You shouldn't miss the London Eye, Europe's tallest observation wheel and one of the most popular tourist attractions in London. Also known as the Millennium Wheel, it is a cantilevered observation wheel on the south bank of the River Thames. It is Europe's tallest cantilevered observation wheel and is the most popular paid tourist attraction in the United Kingdom with over 3 million visitors annually. From the top of the wheel, you can see the whole city and appreciate its beauty. I would not recommend this if you have a severe fear of heights or are claustrophobic. Covent Garden. On the way to the palace, you can stop at Covent Garden, a popular dining and entertainment hub buzzing with excitement. It includes top designer shops, street performers and theaters. Trafalgar Square. Just south of Covent Garden is Trafalgar Square, a popular site for performances and public gatherings. This is where you will see a lot of the action in central London. The area has hosted neighborhood events as well as political rallies, including Bloody Sunday in 1887, the conclusion of the First Aldermaston March and campaigns against climate change. Since 1947, Norway has contributed a Christmas tree to the square, which is displayed for 12 days before and after Christmas. On New Year's Eve, the square serves as the focal point of festivities. Buckingham Palace. Then we come to Buckingham Palace. It is the residence and administrative headquarters for UK monarchs. The palace, which is in the city of Westminster, is frequently the focal point of official events and royal hospitality. It has served as a focal point for the British people throughout happy and sad national occasions. The main structure of the current palace, formerly known as Buckingham House, was a sizable townhouse constructed for the Duke of Buckingham in 1703 on land that had been privately owned for at least 150 years. It became known as the Queen's House after King George III bought it in 1761 to use as Queen Charlotte's private residence. It was expanded in the 19th century, mostly by architects John Mash and Edward Bloor, who built 3 wings around an interior courtyard. With Queen Victoria's accession in 1837, Buckingham Palace was designated as the British monarch's London residence. The palace chapel was damaged by a German bomb during World War II. The Queen's Gallery was constructed there and opened to the public in 1962 to display works of art from the royal collection. I bet you will love the changing of the guard ceremony as it is very popular among visitors. Maybe stop by the front gates to get a glance of the royal family. Hyde Park. The next stop is Hyde Park, the largest royal park in the UK. It is a serene environment and it is often the venue for world-class performances and events. The park runs through the main entrance to Buckingham Palace from the Kensington Palace entrance to Kensington Gardens, Hyde Park Corner, and Green Park. Henry VIII created the park in 1536 by taking the property from Westminster Abbey and used it as a hunting area. It became well known very fast when it was made available to the public in 1637, especially during May Day parades. Under Queen Caroline's leadership, significant advancements were made at the beginning of the 18th century. During this time, Hyde Park witnessed a number of duels, frequently involving nobles. Kensington Gardens. Kensington Gardens is another of the royal parks of London. This park is even calmer and more peaceful than its neighbor. It features attractions such as a statue of Peter Pan and the Serpentine Art Gallery. Our visit would not be complete without visiting some of London's museums. London is known for its world-class museums and galleries, most of which offer free admission. Science Museum. On Cromwell Road, you'll find the Science Museum, one of the major museums and tourist attractions. It is a temple of technology full of scientific inventions and artifacts. Natural History Museum. You can spend some time at the Natural History Museum exploring and enjoying the museum's collection of the history of the Earth, animals, human evolution, and more. Victoria and Albert Museum. You can also visit the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is currently the world's largest museum of applied arts, decorative arts, and design. It is an enormous, eclectic, and fascinating treasure house of works by some of the best artists and designers in the world. Tips for your day in London. Let's look at some of the tips that will help you on your day trip to London. Book in advance. Book as much as possible in advance. When visiting London, plan your visit in advance to get better prices and avoid wasting time in line. Get the London Pass. A good way to see a lot of the major attractions in London with priority entrance is the London Pass. It includes free entrance to some major attractions. I put a link in the description below on how you can obtain the pass in advance of your trip. Use public transport. London's public transport system is very efficient. The London Underground or Tube is one of the most extensive and efficient metro systems in the world. I recommend taking the bus rather than the metro, so you can see more of the city. But use both to your advantage. Explore on foot or cycle. One of the best ways to explore a new city is on foot. You could also consider renting a bike to cover longer distances. To continue your travel journeys, click here. Drop a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy travel.